So we're recording there. I'm going to go ahead and call Dr. Michael Greggo.
Just kidding.
It's recording.
Hello.
All right. Let's see. So.
You edited.
Huh?
You edited.
Nope.
So
Never.
whatever was in now is going to be.
Yep.
Hey, y'all, we're getting ready.
At
Bear
least
with
they
us.
know this is it. This is real. This is as authentic as you can get.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't edit, pull any punches. I don't BS.
Well, since everybody's going to see this, we are the real thing.
You don't get any more honest, logical truth than this.
Well, I come unglued on it a while ago. I had Bert on. The first 5 minutes, man, I come
Who's Bert?
unglued. Bert Golding. He's the guy that's over, what's the name of the company? We sell a bunch of Cell Power.
Oh, yeah.
And Super Silica. And
It's kind of like pH drops.
yeah, we're the #1 seller in the nation for red ginseng.
Sweet. What's going on, man?
Well, you in China stuff.
Hey, China loved me. They called me and they were like, "Yes, we give you good service. It is delivered now. Tastes like chicken, good."
So what's going on? What's happening?
Well, you're about to be on the radio. What do you want to talk about? So what do you want to talk about?
What are you talking about?
I don't know, man. I think we'll just wing it.
Why are we going on the radio?
Because
Hey, I'm Seth's dad, Roy. I don't know if I've ever talked to you, but I do 5 radio shows a week, and I'm on 5 radio stations. We cover a lot of area, and of course, we sell supplements. We've developed 44 products, 38 of them are patented. We ship all over the United States and 11 other countries. But we like talking natural health, and it sounds like you know a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. I pretty much started at 12 years old.
Wow.
My grandfather, but yes, it's been a while.
it's about when you started training me.
Yeah,
I was about 12.
that's right. Yeah, so we're going to talk. What do you want the slant to be? I mean, what do you want to slant it towards?
Well, I've got this new weight loss product, the TRX2, and then the AOD just came in. So, I mean,
What's AOD before I get into this?
anti-obesity drug.
But do we want to sell that on the radio? Do we sell it
Yeah,
at
you
this
might
store?
not want to go there because it's not a natural.
It's not natural.
Oh, but it is. Wait a minute. It went through trials and training just like the drug.
Well,
it was 100% safe at any dosage. It didn't cause any liver
it's got the
interference.
grass rating.
In fact, it got grass.
Well, then let's
So I
do
don't
it.
see why it couldn't.
I don't want to get their credit card processed and taken again.
Oh, I was going to say, will they do that?
I'm good about that. Now, I mean, it should be fine.
Okay.
It's got the grass rating just like any supplement out here.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So the grass generally recognized as safe that gets you a pass on anything out here.
Cool.
So it shouldn't be, and they put it in food. It's a food additive too. They
Well,
have,
we don't put enough of it in there.
well, no, but they do have it. Like they got it marked so it can be added to foods.
Right.
So we're good.
Well, they need to keep adding it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they ain't added enough, obviously. So, like, have you walked through Walmart lately?
No.
So what are we doing? Are we doing the show right now?
I mean, I'm videoing right now, but we're not on the radio yet.
We'll record it. It'll be playing next week.
The radio, I got to be a little more proper than I am on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be hard.
Well,
I know, right?
It's mainly on Christian radio stations, but I have a huge audience, so we don't want to make them mad.
Okay. Well, then can I plug my book, The Insulin Thin Diet?
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
And we'll sell it right out of the store if you want us to.
Well, like, anytime we do advertising, man, you're supposed to plug your stuff.
Well, okay. Well, I didn't, I was invited. I didn't know.
Nah, man, that's a given. Like, I wouldn't invite you if you couldn't do that. It's got to be,
Okay.
I only trade value for value, sir.
Nice.
Like,
Nice.
that's any relationship I have. It has to bring me value, and I bring them value, and that way we get along, and we don't feel used
Yeah, win-win, right?
all the time.
So we got to focus on weight loss then. And
Yeah, weight loss would be awesome.
Hey,
Cool.
unless you know, do you know anything about what is that? Guillain-Barré?
Gilbert.
Yeah, like in what capacity?
Like in she's paraplegic right now almost. One of my
Just
buddies.
got it too.
It's where it attacks the myelin sheath of the nerves, but
Right.
it gets worse for about 4 weeks, and then
Well, I'll
tapers
tell you,
off.
the first thing that comes to mind about that is that, you know what 76% of the myelin sheath is made out of?
What's that?
Cholesterol.
Fat.
Cholesterol,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good fat, cholesterol.
And she's
thank
a
you. And
vegan.
Fat is the insulator for the wiring, for the firing of electricity, right? And
That's
so because
right.
people are low fat, right, high carb, food like substances stored in plastic, and then microwave diets, right, ultra processed foods. Hello.
And
Hey,
she's,
that's stuff we can talk about.
and she's vegan.
Yeah. And she's what?
Vegan.
Vegan. Well, that's vegan. That's fine, but she's got to increase the fat. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just because you're low carb or you're vegan or you're vegetarian or whatever, but you got to make sure those fats are there, and in a high amount. Definitely a high amount, and keep that insulin low at the same time, so you can repair, because all high insulin resistance, of course, is sugar, and sugar destabilizes neural networks and the ability for them to work and to reprogram and repair.
And vegans eat a lot of carbs.
Sorry?
Vegans eat a lot of carbs. I mean, that's
Yeah,
almost
right.
primarily.
Yeah, so really they need to mitigate those with a nice fiber. Like we sell a fiber blend here, a fiber cap. They just got to pop a few of those, like 10 grams to 5 grams per capsule.
Cool.
And you can mitigate the insulin resistance and the sugar.
Well, actually,
dramatically.
we've got this stuff in TRX2 that actually turns your carbohydrates. It makes your body think that half of them are fiber.
Really?
Yeah.
So, why didn't you tell me that?
It blocks. Well, I mean, I just did.
So are you a chiropractor?
Chiropractor and naturopath.
Oh, I just got out of my chiropractor's office. I get popped every week. I love it.
Nice. And what was your first name?
Roy.
Roy. All right, Roy.
Yeah, that's my dad.
Yeah,
Been that way my whole life.
I've known him forever.
Do you claim him?
I do claim him. He's my pride and joy, no doubt about it.
Oh wow, he needs to hear that though. I mean, his head's already big.
I'm trying not to say it in front of him, but you made me.
Yeah.
His biceps will never catch his head.
I can barely get through the door as is. So.
He bumps into things, and they fall. All right, well, I'm gonna open this up and we'll get started. It's 26 minutes and 30 seconds is what we're going for, and I'll close it when it's time. But it's just loose and it's real. That's all we want to be is real, okay?
That's all we can be. You know, Seth.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I learned it from him.
I don't know where he gets this stuff, but all right, here we go, y'all.
All right.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another Today's Health Update. I am Roy Williams, often called the Guru of Good Health, the Superintendent of Supplementation, because our goal is and has always been to make America healthy one person at a time. And in case you don't know it yet, listen close. You cannot do it at the doctor's office. Listen to me. Drugs are going to make life rougher on you instead of better. Now, don't get me wrong. They've got drugs that'll treat symptoms. They can maybe stop you from being nauseated. They can maybe give you a painkiller and ease pain. But what about all the other side effects? Remember, the definition of prescription is permission to poison. And to help y'all understand this better today, I'm excited to tell you I got my son Seth on this radio show with me. And for all y'all watching on video, you're seeing a live radio show, or I should say a radio show being recorded. And we've got Dr.Greggo. He's a chiropractor and a naturopath. Dr. Greggo, good to have you on today.
Hey, Roy, thank you for inviting me. I'm super excited to be here.
Well, I can tell. I've enjoyed a little bit of conversation we've already had, and it's going to get even better as we go along. I've got a feeling when I mix you and Seth together, it's going to be exciting.
It's going to be challenging.
That's a good way to say it. Yeah. Well, let's talk about some weight loss. America is an obese nation. It really is. Go to Walmart, like you say.
Did you know that 70% of the kids that graduate high school right now can't get in the military?
That's right. They're not
That's
fit for military
scary.
service. Right?
That ought to scare every American to death if we're dependent on our
Yeah, that's a
military to
national
protect us.
security issue, isn't it?
Yeah, that is a huge. Like, what if somebody invades and you can't run?
Whew.
Right. What if you can't even get into the military to try and defend us? They're not going to hire you. They're not going to get you in.
Well, heck, they can't even run. That's what. Like, we gotta step it up.
I know, that's crazy, right?
Well, you know when
we talk about weight loss. So the percentage of over-fat people in this country, upwards of 80%. Right, type 2 diabetes, 100 million, approaching 150 million if you do pre-diabetic and diabetic, if you add fatty liver in there.
that's almost half the population.
I'm telling you the truth. It's incredible.
The only thing more dangerous than sugar is your doctor.
Now, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Not the naturopathic
Not
doctor,
the chiropractor.
but the one that prescribes the drugs and cuts you up and then says, "Oops, I'm sorry."
Hey, well, check this out, y'all. Sometimes we're too smart. We get ahead of ourselves. So, Roy, you started the show. I thought it was awesome, too, the way you started that.
Well, thank you.
Synthetic meds into an organic cell, how can that provide health?
It don't even make sense.
It's like putting a banana in your car.
You know what? And there's no synthetic drug that can actually get inside the cell to change it. It goes outside. It makes it faster, slower, speed up, kills it. Whatever, but it can't go inside the cell. Now, where does the cell need help to change, right? To get healthy?
From the inside.
Yes.
From the inside, right? From the inside out. It's synthetic. Mother Nature won't let, thank God, write a synthetic drug or medicine inside the cell.
Well, I always tell people we're organic. We're not synthetic. I ask people all the time, name one cell of your body that's dependent on a synthetic drug for survival. Nobody can name one.
And
Because there isn't one. Like if you go to your doctor and you say, hey, listen, I feel perfectly healthy and well, I want you to keep me that way, so give me a drug, give me a pill to do that.
yeah, like that'll work
and
out.
So if you flip that around, Roy, right, and say someone's already sick and not well, and then you're going to give them a drug that can't make them well, how is that going to help them get well?
Right. Well, Dr. Greggo, that reminds me, too. I have people all the time come to me wanting to lose weight, and I tell them what all they need to be doing, from exercise to eating right to drinking lots of water. And you know what they say? Hadn't you just got a pill?
Yeah, right. They want the easy way out.
Well,
hey, listen, I want to shift gears just for a minute. It's okay with everybody.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Because I think this is a very important point and very under talked about, not really talked about, not really brought out. And that is insulin. The number one driver for every other chronic degenerative disease, from Alzheimer's, dementia, heart attacks, fatal strokes, blindness even, and heart disease and cancer, is all driven by insulin resistance, high insulin. I don't think people think about that enough. And, I want to mention one study before we go in and talk a little bit more about this. But there was a study, Seth and Roy, that actually involved the entire United States. And not just one time, but 2 times. If a scientific study is going to be dependable and valid, it's got to be reproducible, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be able to reproduce it. So back in World War I, everybody that was alive, young, middle-aged, and old, right? They had a rationing, right? They had rationing.
Mm-hmm.
So sugar went down, insulin went down. All-cause mortality from diabetes went down. That means Alzheimer's, dementia, strokes, heart attacks, and cancers. They all went down.
Wow.
And when the rationing stopped, right, sugar went back up, insulin went back up, diabetes went back up, heart attacks went back up.
Are you saying
cancer
we
went
need
back
socialism?
Well, no, wait a minute. World War II came just to make sure it wasn't a fluke, right? Everybody got rationed again, except for us, and Seth brought it up, except for the dirty politicians that still got to eat their sugar and whatever they wanted to eat.
We need them to go early anyway.
The same rules, right? I don't want to go into that. Let's not go there. But World War II came, rationing came back, sugar went down, the insulin went down, diabetes went down, strokes went down, heart disease went down, cancer went down. Boom, until the rationing stopped. So there's a double-blind clinical study with the entire United States.
There you go.
That reminds me of the time that all the doctors went on strike and everybody lived longer.
Yeah,
I know, right? They got less drugs. They got less synthetic drugs, right?
The death rate went down. That's right.
And that is a perfect point. And insulin, whenever a diabetic gets insulin and injects it, this causes the heart disease, the hardening of the arteries and the tearing apart of the cardiovascular system. Am I not right there?
Do you know when they inject in the same spot, that spot grows and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger?
Yeah.
And that's called lipo hypertrophy, right? Lipo is fat, hypertrophy is new growth of.
Right.
So there's new growth of fat wherever they inject in. So insulin just doesn't stop fat burning, it makes fat. And then you talk about where that fat goes in your arteries. You got atherosclerosis, that fat goes in your heart, that fat goes in your visceral.
And it
your visceral
causes
tissues.
everything to get
fat.
hard. Like it.
Okay.
It literally, with bodybuilders, whenever they inject insulin, they become very rigid and dry and but that's not healthy.
No.
Like that's when they're on stage, you can beat them up. It's the weirdest thing. Now they're good for about 30 seconds, and 30 seconds is a long time. But after 30 seconds,
if you're on the bottom, but let's talk about I touched on visceral fat. So tell everybody how dangerous visceral fat is, and we're going to talk about what we can do for them.
Sure.
That will help that.
That sounds great.
well, fat in general. Now, fat's a good thing. All right, you have to have fats for your brain is 76% cholesterol by weight, so we have to have those fats. But
right.
What happens is, all right, imagine you've got your car, and every time you go fill your car up, you put a gallon on the outside of your car and carry it around. Okay, if we do this after a year, you've got a lot going on, hanging on the outside, and it's wearing your car out. So how do you get rid of that excess fuel, that excess energy that you've stored? Well, you got to run the tank out.
That's right.
So that means your blood sugar goes down. Now, what happens whenever blood sugar goes down and you don't have as much energy? Well, you don't feel as good, right? So,
unless you're ketosis, but go ahead.
So one of the things that we want to do is help you get through that with appetite suppressants like in TRX2. This has it has something in there. Have you ever heard of PEA?
Let me get in this real quick, audience. Listen carefully now. Those people that ask me, "Hadn't you just got a pill?" We do have one. You still need to do a little bit of your part, but Seth, talk about this pill.
Well, this makes it easier for you to do. You have to. I don't care what you're on or what you take. If you eat more calories than you burn, you store fat. You store energy in the fat cell. So. In this product, we have the brain's natural stimulant, which is called PEA or phenylethyl. Yep, that stuff. PEA-based supplements. They augment the effect of prescription medications that actually help with focus and concentration, like let's think Adderall or something like that. But it also treats the symptoms associated with various conditions like fatigue, brain fog, fuzzy thinking, poor concentration, attention, focus, lack of motivation, no sense of joy. And proper supplementation with PEA has been shown to provide rapid improvements in mental clarity, mood, stamina, energy, libido, joy, and motivation. So if you feel like that while you're cutting your calories, you can easily go through this. You can easily start to lose weight. And what we recommend is while taking TRX2, cut everything you eat in half. It just makes it easy. If you would normally eat this much, eat half that. You'll start to lose weight.
Listen, I've had dozens of people over the years, y'all, I tell them, put half the food on your plate for a week. I challenge you for 7 days, and that's all you eat, 3 meals a day if that's what you eat. And what the biggest thing I get from them is they go, "Oh my God, I feel better. I don't have indigestion. I don't have the heartburn." I said, "Well, it's because you was overloading your system every time you ate."
Yeah.
That's right. And Roy, you touched on something I think innately that you didn't realize is that there is a hormone called leptin, right?
That's right.
Leptin, yeah.
And it takes 15 minutes to get from the stomach to the brain.
That's right.
Dad's been teaching me that since I was a kid.
Come on.
He said, chew
You only
slowly.
eat half and you wait 15 minutes, you're not going to be as hungry.
You're going to feel full.
Dad would say, put your fork down in between bites.
That's right. He just did that innately. That's awesome, Roy.
Yeah, Have you heard of a product called Phenibut or Phenibut?
Yeah, Phenibut, yep, absolutely.
We put that in there too to stimulate your dopamine and a sense of satiety, which is I'm full. I'm satisfied. It also increases growth hormone, and we all know how growth hormone works to burn fat, increase muscle mass, and decrease body fat, but it also increases metabolism via increased muscle, and then it helps to relieve tension, anxiety, fear, and calm the nervous system so that you don't have the jitters and the shakes and all the things that come along with most of your stimulant-based products for appetite suppression, which it does have caffeine in there, but the caffeine, let's face it, caffeine works to stimulate the mind and to help with energy. And when you diet, you need energy. That happens. So that, along with moranoline, which comes from mulberry, which reduces by up to 50% the sugar from carbohydrates you eat.
Wow, so you don't absorb as much of the sugar.
Yeah, so if you eat the biscuit, you absorb half the biscuit. The other half is, it fools your body into thinking it's fiber.
So it eliminates it.
So you poop it.
Hey, that's nice. So it turns it into fiber?
Yeah, well, it fools the body into thinking it's fiber. The liver actually doesn't convert it like a carbohydrate.
So
wow. Does it work like a prebiotic to them? With a probiotic, like a prebiotic fiber?
I don't know. That would be nice. You mean like feed
inulin
the inulin? Yeah, to feed the probiotics is a prebiotic. That's just to explain to everybody what that is. That's basically giving the digestive tract the raw material it needs to feed the probiotics, so your good bacteria can kill the bad bacteria before it gets in your blood.
It can thrive. Yeah, it can have to thrive.
Yeah, do all digestion, producing neurotransmitters, BDNF for the brain.
Well, you know, that's the reason you have the tail at the end of your colon, is to house your probiotics.
Yeah, right.
They cut that off and throw it away these days. Like, you don't, you need that thing. That's there, so whenever you get food poisoning and everything is expelled, you still have your probiotics to rebuild.
That's right.
What's that thing called?
Appendix.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think of it. But this also.
Isn't that crazy? You gotta say that again, Seth. I don't think a lot of people are aware of that.
Okay, your appendix, the thing that they cut off and throw away, you actually need that to house probiotics, because if you get food poisoning and everything is flushed out of you to save you, then that would get rid of all your probiotics. But God was really smart. Like, he had a plan when he did this. So what he did is he put a tail at the end of the colon to house your probiotics so they can rebuild and regenerate after food poisoning.
That's awesome information.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's really important.
Let's talk back about insulin, because I think,
Sure.
I sound like a broken record, but I think
let's do it.
understand.
And plus, like your book, the Insulin Diet.
The Insulin Diet.
Awesome
That's right,
book.
all about monitoring insulin. We created a calculator because a lot of time, there's not a monitor right now to monitor insulin. And I want to say this too.
That's
this
really
is
good
super
meals.
important. Well, everybody looks to glucose, right? What's my sugar doing? Is it high? Is it low? Am I okay? And 99%, I'm going to go 99.9% of all glucose tolerance tests, A1Cs, and fasting glucose, if they're normal, throw them out. Throw them out. And here's why. Let me explain. If we have a little too much sugar going on in our body, then our pancreas will kick out a little more insulin to push it back down into normal range. That's called compensatory hyperinsulinemia, right? And so that's not normal. When your sugar is higher, you don't realize it's higher because your pancreas is pumping out a little more insulin. Doc pats you on the back. That's a good report. Your sugar is good. No, but you need to test insulin. When you go in and get your glucose tolerance test, get your insulin tolerance test.
Will they do that?
What that's doing, right? To make sure that you're not building diabetes, you're not going to go blind, and you're not going to get a heart attack or get cancer.
Or just quit eating sugar. That's really hard, though, isn't it?
Well, it's in all the food. Yeah.
So can you get a straight insulin test?
Yes, absolutely.
Insulin
tolerance test. Yeah, they get you. You eat. They give you some sugar, and they measure. It's kind of a grueling test because they do it every 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. Like they do. It's like a 6-hour test. It's supposed to rise and fall. Right. The highest is in 2 hours, and it's supposed to start falling. If it doesn't fall, if it gets above 60. Then we know that there's an issue, that your pancreas is pumping out more insulin, and it could take anywhere from 10 to 14 years before your pancreas gets pooped out, and it can't push out anymore, right? Wow. And then you get that diagnosis of type 2, but you've been type 2 that whole time, causing all that deleterious effects. Again, from diabetic neuropathy, the number one way to lose feet. and lose hands.
That's what happens to alcoholics. Is they actually usually get diabetes before their liver gives up.
Yeah, it's because of fatty liver, right? Non-alcoholic, in this case, alcoholic fatty liver disease, right? Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
how do you ask for this test at your doctor's office?
Yeah, it's just an insulin tolerance test.
Tolerance test, okay.
Just like a glucose tolerance, GTT, it's an ITT.
Cool.
Right?
See, I didn't even know about that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, listen, back in the 70s, guy named Kraft, Dr. Kraft, did 45,000 insulin tests with sugar tests. And he wanted to find out which one was more important, how do they work. And he's the one that found out that just taking glucose by itself does not tell you. If it's normal, it doesn't tell you anything. It's not going to tell you that you're actually getting sick and you're going to be hurt. And so what happened back then, a guy named Ansel Keys, who was a veterinary doctor, was hired by the government. I don't know why. I guess he had some pull. Maybe his wife was married into administration or something. I don't know. The point is, though, he was actually a vegan, and he didn't eat meat. He hated saturated fat. He looked at 6 studies. They had a bunch of variables in them, and so he took the variables that were slanted towards saturated fat being bad, and he said, okay, that's what's causing the heart. It's bad fats. It's fats that's causing your atherosclerosis, coronary heart disease, and the rest of the Dr. Kraft's work is just swept under the rug. Everybody on the fat bandwagon, and it's really a crime because fat is, like you said earlier, is good for us. The brown fat, it gives us energy, provides heat. We can use it. We can mobilize it.
Yes,
right?
we have to have it.
And that fat that comes through our intestines is called chylomicrons. I don't want to get too technical, but chylomicrons pick up the fat in our intestine and place it all over the body. Now, the bad fat comes through in triglycerides through the liver, and it's made by sugar, de novo lipogenesis. Right? It's sugar. And it's all kinds of, even the aspartame, the sugar alcohols, the erythritol, the high fructose corn syrup. Any type of sugar, right, is going to make that triglycerides go high, right, and that's going to give you that visceral fat. That's where the visceral fat doesn't come from eating fat. So it comes from sugar, and that was all Dr. Kraft's work. 45,000 tests swept under the rug.
So have you noticed?
We got on the fat bag. When you think about it, common sense, guys, think about this. Roy and Seth, back in the 80s, we ate butter and lard, right? Yeah, butter and lard. Yep. And they said, oh, no, that's no good. We got to go with margarine and vegetable oils.
Yeah.
Had nowhere near the diabetes that we do now. So, and another thing that I've noticed is, especially on lifting weights and bodybuilding, is whenever someone takes a cholesterol-lowering drug, on 3 different occasions, I've noticed that people will start to lose muscle mass. They literally, their bicep.
What's testosterone made out of?
Yeah, exactly.
Cholesterol.
But I've actually
and
seen.
What's your brain made out of?
Cholesterol.
Who wants a smaller brain?
And your muscle.
Who wants Mr. Happy not to be happy?
And your muscle is attached to your bone with cholesterol.
The sheath around every nerve in your body is cholesterol, folks.
So fat.
And you know who put the real nail in the coffin to all that, Seth and Roy, is Monsanto.
Oh, I know.
Monsanto grew a bunch of corn whose corn oil is filling our gasoline and ethanol, eating our cars out from the inside out, just like it's eating our bodies out in high fructose corn syrup, because corn is polyunsaturated fat. Anything that was saturated was the enemy.
But remember when we had to save the environment and put the ethanol in the gas?
Yeah.
Because I remember that.
You mean help Monsanto's bottom line?
Yeah, that's right.
But we were doing helping Monsanto.
So I mean the same thing that the EPA does, like with everything.
So to get back just a second, this supplement called TRX2, folks. Just listen to the front and the end of the show, and you'll know how to get it at any of our locations, or you can call numbers and get it. But how do you take that, Seth?
Basically, what you want to do is first thing whenever you get up in the morning, it would be a good idea to take one, because that's going to help to curb the appetite, give you the feelings of well-being. It's going to help with focus, concentration, cognitive ability, things like that. All the things that you need that you would normally get from your food, it fills that gap.
And it reduces your appetite.
Of course. Wow. And it increases satiety, which is the same thing as reducing appetite.
Right.
But then you want to do it again around lunchtime. I would not recommend it at night, as it does give you a natural energy. So we don't want to try to go to sleep on it. It may be AOD may be a better thing to do at night if you need something at night. But
it does have caffeine in it.
Oh yes, it does have caffeine. It's about the same.
It also has Phenibut. right?
Yeah, so
Calorie
it calms
so
that
we break
down.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's a good balance so that there's no jitters, no shakes, no
Awesome.
none of that feeling like our no-yo Himbond. I despise that product. Like that makes me feel like I got Parkinson's. Seriously. But none of that, no jitters.
So it's
really,
one a day or two a day?
well, 2 a day would be, for most people, that'll be enough. Now, if you take 3, you start seeing noises, which is unique.
That's kind of strange.
No, it gives you a lot of energy. Of course, the more you take, the more energy you get.
Right.
So we don't want to dose too highly, but it's going to regulate blood sugar is one of the main things it does too, and it blocks the carbohydrates. You have no option but to lose weight if you watch your caloric intake. Nothing will help you if you don't do that.
Dr. Greggo, how do you help your patients your customers' patients that want to lose weight besides something like Seth's talking about here?
Oh, well, first of all, we use that fiber, the TRX2. I'm going to put that in our program.
Let's talk, yeah.
And
the meals in his book are
Insulin
awesome.
Diet is the name of the book, and we get patients to the book, and we coach them, high-end coaching. We have a smart scale hooked up to their smartphones with an app that we created, and it can follow people anywhere around the country. And we got coaches 24/7.
Well, in a couple of minutes, you got a couple of minutes. Tell everybody how to get your book.
Sure. Well, it's available on Amazon. It's called the Insulin Diet. It's a play on words. So INSULTHIN, right? So it's insul. It's
Awesome
insulin.
name.
It's insulin, right? Diet. And then if they want the program, what they can do, they can reach out to me if they want Dr. Mike Grego at Gmail.
Okay.
DrMikeGrego@gmail.com. Right, and then I will get them into a free webinar. I can give them a free webinar, and they can look at the webinar. If there's something they like, then we can get them in on a coaching program.
Awesome. That's awesome. So in that book, it explains the insulin and what the problem is.
Absolutely. How to lower it and keep it lower in a fun way. Believe it or not, like you can have red velvet cake. Well, on this, believe it, if it's made with almond flour and sweetened with stevia or monk fruit, boom.
So,
you can actually have things that are tasty, but you got to make them a little different.
And if someone is diabetic, this is going to be, they definitely need to
you control your insulin. We've actually reversed, not cured. We brought people back to normal. Back to where they were, like the way they came into this world.
No, we don't cure anything. We believe God made the body with the ability to heal. It just has to have the right materials in there to heal with, and it's not drugs, folks.
And most of it's common sense. Like, honestly, this doesn't have to be too complex.
No, it really don't.
And it can be tasty.
And if any of you have seen my son, you know he can help you with the exercise part of it. If that's something you are interested in, not only losing weight but getting strong. Listen, he's the expert. There's no doubt. If you see pictures of him, and there's a lot of them out there online to see.
If you want your body to look a certain way, that we can achieve. However you want that to work, we can make that happen. And that's just something that was entertainment. Dad actually trained me on disease and things like that far before I ever started this. This is just fun to me. I like picking up heavy things.
And if you want to do that, Seth can help you out for sure. We got a minute left, fellas. What would y'all like to leave everybody with to think about?
Well,
Seth, you go ahead first.
Okay, think about this. As insulin tears apart the cardiovascular system, you have to be very careful today that they don't inject you with something that causes a spike protein that does the same thing.
You talking about the vaccines?
No, I wasn't going to say that, but yes,
I will.
Exactly.
I will. I wouldn't take one if they paid me $1,000 a day for the rest of my life.
That will do the same thing to your cardiovascular system that too much insulin does.
That's right. Dr. Greggo, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I just want to thank you, Roy and Seth, for inviting me on here. I hope people got some good information. And again, if they want to reach out, Dr. Mike Grego at Gmail, and the Insulin Diet book on Amazon is a great resource. It actually has 37 videos in it too, so they're tutorial videos. They're like a minute long. If somebody doesn't understand something, you press on a button, you see a video about it. So it's kind of a cool thing in a book. I don't know if a lot of people have seen that videos in a book.
I think we got a link to it on the website.
One more thing. Are you interested in doing some more of these with us?
Absolutely not, Roy.
Okay.
Yes, I will.
All right.
That's awesome.
Because
I'm happy to do it.
it's been a lot of fun. Listen out there, everybody. We appreciate you listening to today's health update. Please share it with everybody you know. And remember, you can go to our website. They'll give you that at the end of the show. And you can listen to these shows as many times as you want. Until next time, may God bless all of you with abundant health. Now, there's a radio show that'll go down in history. I like it.
That was good stuff. That was good.
Sometimes people just have chemistry. We have chemistry, y'all. We can do that.
Well, we all think, we're all logical, real human beings. We're not all jacked up on something.
I love that show, the name of your book, Insulthin.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Play on words.
Well, it's like nutritional healthcare spelled N-E-W.
If we buy some of the books from you, can we sell them out of our store and make a little money on it?
Absolutely.
How much do I buy them for?
And hey, listen to this, Roy. I'm going to send y'all a link to an affiliate, a promoter. It's a promoter link for the weight loss in the box, right, where it goes around the world. And what you do is you just fill it out. At the end of that link is a 3-minute video that tells you how you make money.
Okay.
And then it's all automatic too. You get a unique link. You hand it out to anybody. You can put the link out on your show, I guess. However you can. I'm trying to think on a radio show you can put out a link, but however you can get the link out, and then whoever takes in that link, you get 10% of whatever the program they get on, right?
Awesome.
That can be anywhere from $300 to $1,500, depending on what that person needs.
Well, I like making money, needless to say, but I want to do it in a natural and a healthy way. So the book sounds very interesting to me, and I would not mind carrying some books in the store and advertise them on the radio and sell them. So you make money and we make money, and that's also, we may do another show with you, and all we talk about is what's in that book and get people to want to buy it.
Well, you know what, Roy, that would just tickle me.
Well, let's do that.
Well, a lot of people need that.
Roy, what's your phone number?
256.
Well, I can text it to you.
Yeah, Seth will text it to you.
Yeah, it's just 256-777.
5660. Yeah.
So, all right, so text it to me too.
I will. Yeah, just it's easier for me that way. Like whenever I'm getting numbers.
But man, this.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Appreciate you, man.
Y'all too.
All right, peace.
Ciao.
Love it.
Yeah, I'll let that go pretty good.
He fit right into what we do.
Oh.